Assalamualaikum guys, we have worked on templates inheritance which was supported by Jinja 2, and today we are going to see that how we can use databases in our project. The databases you guys have to use should be Postgres, and I'm utterly convinced that you guys already have the database which is Postgres and is deployed on Heroku. I would be creating a new table in my database, so let's do it. Columns. Let me name this table as employee. Sorry, employees. ID column would be a primary key and auto increment it as well. Let me add another column with name of employee and should be voucher. Okay, so let me add another one with this should be integer. Let me execute it. Table right over here, employees. Let me add some data in this employee table. Console and insert into table name employee and then the column name. We are not going to insert any number in ID column because we have already marked it auto increment, which means every time the data is inserted into the table other than ID, the ID will be generated automatically. Specifying name and salary and then the values. Salary $1,200. Okay, execute it and the row is inserted. Let us double click this and you can see that it has actually inserted twice because I executed this SQL twice. So let us remove one of the row from here, but you can see that it is generating this ID by itself. So let me delete one of the row, and after making any changes you have to submit to. Now changes are made. Double click this and you can see that now I have to use this data in my application of Flask, and it should be there in a table which was defined database data.html. Let me go to this app.py and you can see from here as well this show data route is going to point this. Coming here and going to this route. Okay, so we have to place all the data which was in employees over here. For the time being there is only one row, but we are going to add more of them later. You guys have already tried the Postgres with Python on Jupyter Notebook, so I would be adding this code in app.py, which is our Flask application. Let me copy this code. I'm not including con.close. Coming back to our application and pasting this code over here. We need this rows variable which has the result set, which will be having the result set of the query we are going to write over here. So removing all of the things, you can see that this is giving us error because we have not imported psychopg2. And before that, let me see that whether this project has this psychopg2 module or not. Control Alt S, and you can see that it's installed. If it's not there, you can simply install it from here, writing module name, and you are going to find it. In my case, I have already downloaded it, so this is labeling it blue. Going back, just minimize it. So we have psychopg2 module, but it's not imported yet. So let me import it by going to this error and pressing Alt Enter and clicking this first option, which is import psychopg2, and you can see that PyCharm has done this for us. Now I'm going to write the query, and I will use the result set, which will be in this rows variable, and I will pass this to our database.html, which is here in this case, which is in this route, and I'm going to use this rows over here. But let me first write the query. So changing this, select all from, and in our case the table name is employees. Okay, let me give the proper credentials. In my case, I am using local database, but you are going to use the Postgres, which is deployed on Heroku. I have placed my credentials over here. Let's debug the code and see what is present in this rows variable. So I am placing breakpoint over here, and to see this, I have to execute this function, which will be this function, which will be automatically executed once I hit this route in my browser. So let me debug it. To debug it, I have to click over here, and the server has started. Let me hit this route, going back to the browser and hitting this route. So you can see that it has opened this PyCharm, and let me evaluate it. So we can write over here rows, and we can evaluate. You can see that the row variable actually consists of the data which was in our database, and it is actually surrounded by a tuple, and the outer layer has list. So list contains the tuple, and tuple has the data, and tuple is actually representing the rows. So this list has one tuple right now, and this one tuple is representing the first row in our database. And we can see what is the data. At 0 index in the tuple, it's ID. At 1 index, it's Anas name, and at 2 index, it's salary. So let's pass this rows to database data.html. Let me stop the debugger. So I'm passing rows to this row variable. We don't need to specify rows in this, because we can see that rows is actually the global variable over here, so every function has access to it. So let me go to this database data.html page, and we can go by directly clicking this, and this table will be rendered dynamically. So let me place the for loop over here. You can see that it would be getting this row from here. So I'm utterly convinced that you know that how the for loops work actually in Python. And let me end this loop over here. You can see here that the code which was once tried in our Jupyter notebook was this, to fetch data from databases. So I am using the same code in our HTML page, but with Jinja 2 syntax. So let's make some changes. Rows 0, same thing we are going to do over here as well. Rows 1. There were a total of 3 columns in our database. You can see them: ID, name and salary. So rows 2. Let me format this all. Control Alt L. Okay. Let us see that what is the result on the page when we start it. Let me go to the data, and you can see that it is giving us the row. Let me remove these rows and let me rename the column names. Okay, coming back and removing these rows and renaming column name, ID, name and salary. Minimize it and restart it. Control shift. You can see that it's working. Let us add another row in our table and we can see that it's working or not. Add a new row with ID of 3 and name Bilal 400. After making any changes, you just have to click this submit. So this is a new record in our database. Let us see that our page renders it or not. Sorry, I just forgot to restart the server. Restart the server and close shift R. You can see that it's working. So our application is getting data from the databases.